My name is Robyn Cleveland, and I'm a bartender at The Last Word in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I would definitely say that my approach to making drinks stems from cooking. I grew up watching cooking shows. I never had cable television growing up. I just had PBS, a good after-school programming of Julia Childs, which may sound a little dorky, but that's kind of what interested me and always has continued to interest me. And I also keep an open mind to inspiration. Sometimes I'll be inspired by something that I eat. Sometimes I'll just be inspired by something I smell when I'm out working in my yard. I live on 5 acres. I heat my house entirely with wood, so I'm constantly chopping down oak trees, which reminds me of whiskey. And in springtime, I'm smelling wildflowers. And you think about all those things, just kind of let it all enter into your mind, and you make drinks that way. The Italian job is one of those things that reminds me of spring because it's got these really nice floral elements from the Amaro that we use. The fresh honey, obviously, will remind you of that. The gin has got these wonderful floral notes, kind of earthy flavors that all kind of balance and pair well with one another, and the lemon juice just makes it super fresh and light. I make a lot of my own ingredients, so I do bitters. Bitters are one thing that I make a lot, and I try to use stuff that actually grows in the wild. So there's one drink that's on the menu currently called the Cabaret that David actually created, but he uses a black walnut bitter that I made from a black walnut tree that's growing at my house. That's the bitter right there. It almost looks like coffee. So my involvement with the Bartenders Guild in Detroit specifically was that I was the founding president of this chapter. When I moved to Michigan, if you were a bartender and you thought you had chops in Michigan, there were no competitions. The competitions didn't come here. We were a market that was sort of written off in the shadow of Chicago, in the shadow of New York. We are now one of the top chapters. We have one of the largest membership groups in the country. So people are finally trying to, starting to take note of what's going on in the Detroit area and Ann Arbor as well. I was honored to be included in the Thrillist top 25 bartenders in America, among some people that I really look up to. I don't know how that happened. I don't know if I struck a chord with somebody that I waited on. Somebody thought highly of me, and I'm flattered. At The Last Word, we strive to have a welcoming environment, a warm place, where if somebody isn't sure of something, they can ask questions, and we openly welcome those questions. Customer service to me is the most important thing in bartending. You can win all the awards and all the competitions you want, but if you're not friendly to people, they're not going to come back.